this country from poor desert kingdom to modernity in barely 2 generations. After 9/11 and the discovery that 15 of the 19 hijackers were Saudis, the strongest pressure to reform Saudi Arabia has been from its oldest ally, the United States.
The fact that some Saudis were involved in 9/11, this will imminently and inevitably create a rift between Saudi Arabia and the United States.
What the prince fears now is that no one in the West trusts the Saudi royals to deal with their terror threat and get it right. Debating women's issues and the needs of the rapidly rising young unemployed.
In the beginning, when we met as men to men, we didn't know how to talk to it. But then when the women came, it became even more complicated.
In Saudi terms, he is a liberal, a devout Muslim pushing for political and religious reform. Meetings like this would have been unheard of a few years ago, but even now some people are still afraid of speaking out publicly. A newspaper editor was fired for criticizing a conservative cleric, and some forward-leaning liberals have been locked up for no specified charge. Sami was warned not to talk with us. Quietly, though, he was reassured his weekly meetings, so far at least, do have a royal seal of approval. This is Mecca. How many years ago?
This is Mecca, 1904.
Where he is making less headway is with his other passion, the preservation of ancient buildings in the holy cities of Mecca and Medina. What's happening here?
Here's the place is being destroyed to allow for a parking lot.
For decades, he's been cataloguing the damage. Destruction, Sami says, rooted in the intolerance of Wahhabi clerics who believe such buildings could lead to idolatry.
The really moving force is the religious establishment.
He ends his slideshow on these images. His message, the intolerance at the very heart of Islam, is the lifeblood of Muslim extremism worldwide. A month later, I joined Isa and his team at Ground Zero. Once he was a student in this country, and this is the first time he's been back since September the 11th.
I think it's more than I expected. I expected to feel something, but this is even more than what I expected. Yeah, it's very sad. Unbelievable.
What I want to know is, can he and his team translate their feelings about American suffering to their audience?
We're not saying that.
Even Ahmed has been touched by the journey.
The regular Saudi is sitting in Saudi Arabia. What is he seeing? All he's seeing is the Iraqi war. He's not seeing the Jewish person who we met today, Jewish American, who is defending the Muslims in Guantanamo Bay.
Not the stereotype most Saudis talk about.
The people that really matter are the poor people like you, me, and every other person that's walking the street.
Isa and his team are connecting across the cultural and religious divide opened up by Osama bin Laden on September the 11th. But no one on his team expects this program episode to be an easy sell.
I'm sure a lot of people are watching us right now who are going to watch this and going to say, why didn't you go to Iraq to show all the massacres that are happening?
No, exactly.
Why are you coming here September 11th after 3 years of the incident, and you're not going to Iraq and children being killed until today?
With his marketing background, Isa certainly knows his audience. Question is, can he really change the minds of those few hardline jihadi youth back in Saudi Arabia? And even if he can, are all Saudi Arabia's ills curable with understanding? When we come back, can the royal family manage this change?
The pace is happening as fast as we can, and as much as we can through a process of consensus.
We're on our way to meet Crown Prince Abdullah. Most people we talk to here seem to think if anyone's going to lead the country towards reform, it's going to be him. We'd like to ask him some questions, but we don't know if we'll get the chance. As we enter his palace, security is tight. Recent attacks have the royal family fearing for their lives. I watch as the country's most powerful man meets his subjects. This man pleads for money, and a hospital for the handicapped. Others pledged support. The Crown Prince takes the opportunity to push his new mantra: there is no place for terrorists. But the Crown Prince's rule is not as firm as it seems. Privately, I've been told that while he sits in place of his terminally ill brother, King Fahad, some of the king's other brothers scheme, effectively blocking any real chance of reform.
Nick.
Suddenly, it's my turn.
Your Highness, thank you very much for inviting you to your majlis.
A chance to ask him about the jihadis.
Thank you. May I take this opportunity to ask you a few questions?
Through his translator, he cordially declines. It's time for him to pray, and I learn the first lesson of the royal court. Everything is at the prince's discretion. A few days later, another opportunity to talk to a leading member of the royal family. Foreign Minister Prince Saud Al Faisal agrees to a short interview. I ask about the jihadis.
It is not true that they represent a reaction to economic ills in the government. What they're saying that all governments in the Islamic world are illegal.
When I talk to businessman Prince Mohammed Al Faisal, a younger generation royal, I hear a different emphasis. He tells me the key to stability is a healthy economy.
A third of the Saudi population was born after the first Gulf War. All you need to do is to look at your youth population